Okay, quickly want to go over the trades that we made today. First trade I took this morning. So today the winning streak comes to an end, but it's not realistic to hit every single trade every single day, right? So 12 for 12, and we're now 17 for 21. So made a decent number of trades a day, more than I really wanted to make, but we hit five, we missed four. So quickly want to go over what those trades were. Now for some reason, this WUBA, I was showing a red. I'm having some issues with my charts today, but nonetheless, initially we shorted the WUBA, this WBA, which is the old WAG. If you saw in the chat script, I was actually writing WAG when I was saying I was covering and selling, but everybody knows I was going over this morning. WBA, they changed the ticker, so this uses the old WAG, and I keep calling it that. So if I do that again, excuse me. Anyway, we had a little doji top here. I was initially watching this to the long side, didn't get the setup that I wanted, so I didn't touch it to the long side. Okay, I shorted it I was shorting when it wasn't holding 90. I was shorting. The market was kind of coming in, looked a little weak, so I thought maybe this was going to roll over. Was shorting against 90 and a potential volume top right here, doji bar, and got stopped out right here. Was shorting this 89.90s, was stopped out 90.16. Okay, so it's kind of a small loss there. Later in the afternoon, we got long right here on this rip up, and we were selling. I was selling through 92. Obviously, it spiked all the way to 93.42. But nonetheless, we were buying down here 91.20s, selling through 92, so it was a nice, good trade. Then this has this ascending resistance right here on the day chart, and this spiked right to it, and you can really see it better on your 1 minute chart. And so on the 1 minute, we always talk about trading extremes in our course. So on the 1 minute, it spikes right up to that ascending resistance. I was getting short 93.20s with a stop, 93.26 short with a stop at 93.51. Now 93.51 is just the next psychological resistance. And if I'm going to be shorting at the highs, now no news came out on this, but if I'm going to be shorting at the highs against ascending resistance, I'm always going to be trading an extreme move, so an extreme run up like this, and I'm always going to use the next psychological resistance level as my stop. So 93.51 was the next psychological resistance level. Now this is a rare occurrence that I'll trade against the trend, but on a run up like this, and we talk about this in the course, shorting against ascending resistance, and typically what's going to happen, unless it's just grinding up all day and then you're going to get a big spike, you have to have a volume spike to break ascending resistance. You do not have to have a volume spike to break descending resistance. Same thing on the flip side. You have to have a volume spike to break descending support, but you don't have to have a volume spike to break ascending support. Sorry, ascending support. I'm not sure if I said that right, but you have to have a volume spike to break. The main thing you need to know, ascending resistance, you have to have a volume spike to break, and descending support, you have to have a volume spike to break. That's required by per the algos, and if you think about it, it's logical, right? So knowing that what typically happens on a run up to ascending resistance is you're gonna test it. So you're gonna run up, you're gonna pull back, and then if it's gonna break it, it's gonna go test, retest, break, but it's almost always going to test. Very rarely will you spike through it unless you have some intraday news, and this news was out before the bell, so I wasn't too worried about it. So WBA, I had one loser, two winners. So shorting against ascending resistance and covering, going long at the end of the day, and then that initial short on that volume top intraday did not pan out. So that was one of my losses today. I had two losers on ALTR and one massive winner. So ALTR, I told the room this morning, and if you sign up, you can watch the video, that I wouldn't be surprised if this hit 45 bucks today, even though it was gapping down. This is a perfect textbook setup. I call this a bull flag trap, where it looks like it's going to be a short because the bull flag's breaking, but the bull flag is still set up on the day chart, and then you end up ripping. And it did hit 44, and that's a bold statement to make when it was trading 38 in pre-market, right? To say I wouldn't be surprised to hit that 45. But it's not that bold because I didn't make any money out of the gate. because my equity feed charts did not give me, was showing that the second 5 minute candle took out the low on ALTR, and it actually did not. So I don't know why I got that misread, and I was using my equity feed for my watches anyway. I don't want to get into that. I was going off about it earlier, but this was a perfect setup for what I wanted initially. I just didn't see it. But on this third 5 minute bars inside, play the break of the high and looking for gap fill, that would have been textbook beautiful. But I missed that, and I took 2 stabs where I got stopped out on this. I was taking stabs up here on these setups right here where I was getting stopped out. My last stab, which is the one I made money on, I was adding right here 4150s. All right, and sold to get my average down to 42, and was selling all the way up until until the 4350. So it was a big gain, buying again, literally buying 4160s on an ad, selling 4330s. Now my initial entry was 42, and I had 2 losers on this before I finally had the big winner. But I kept telling the room that I was going to stick with it. I knew it was going to run, and it did end up running. Wanted to see it hit 44. Wanted to get 44 out of it. When it got a little toppy up here around this 4370 level, it got a little toppy. It looked like it was going to start pulling. I went ahead and bailed on it. So it was a good trade. It did work out well. Had VLTC this morning too. Played my setup here. The setup was through 5. So we were playing through 5. So you've got a pivot bar right here. You can get along the break of the high. Waited till it crossed 5. Was buying 510, selling all the way up to 549. So nice little play here on VLTC. And then I had MYL where I had 1 loser, 1 winner. This was a follow-through play. I wish I had seen that ALTR set up. I'm going to be miserable about that. I would have hit that in the morning, probably just sat on my hands. Try to go. I've only done it a couple times where I go the entire week without a trade. I try to make at least 20 trades a week. Go 20 for 20. It's pretty solid, but it's obviously not realistic to do every week. But still, we got a good week going. This MYL was just playing the follow-through. There was a little flag set up here. Initially had a gain on it, was looking for the rip. Got long again trying to play it off this bullish engulfing bar. It popped up and then pulled in, and I actually got stopped out. I had a 71.49 stop. So I lost money the second time, and I actually ended down on the trade. So that's pretty much all we traded today. And again, it was a solid day overall. I'm not sure if I'm missing anything or not. But solid day overall. Good profits, good trades, good big winners, and that's what we want. Hopefully we'll see everybody in the chat room tomorrow morning.